Welcome to Live on One, a miniature gaming podcast type listening thing. I'm Steven. I feel like it's been a while since I recorded an episode, but I'm Steven, and I'm here today with Jen.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, Jen. I was listening to the episode you and Eric did, and I just have to say the intros are vastly different when I'm on.
Yeah, I think for the intro and outro, we definitely give two completely different energies, despite having similar lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it is what it is. We are, in fact, different people, so
That's
I
true.
guess that makes sense.
It'd be weird if we were just clones of each other.
I don't even think there's a world where that would happen, but here we are. Clone Saga. Oh, that's Star Wars. My bad.
No, Clone Saga is Marvel. Clone Wars is.
I like second guess myself. I was like, I don't remember which franchise is this.
You almost had it. You were so close.
Damn it. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's a Web Warriors card. All right. We got
the best Web Warriors card.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when we don't have to get into Clone Saga with the card, but tonight Jen and I are on. We were just talking offline a little bit how we're like the last two surviving members of Alive on One, at least the oldest people on the podcast. I don't mean age wise. I just mean you and I have been doing this the longest since we made so many changes.
Yeah, but obviously, like this podcast is always a evolving concept. So we're happy to be where the people we are. We're happy for the people that have contributed. If anybody ever wants to come back, obviously we'll never say no to that. No.
Q, baby, come back.
Baby, come back.
Yeah. Maddox, that's for you. I feel like I know he listens to this probably. So, yeah. But anyways, tonight we're on and we're going to talk a little bit about the 2025 in review. We did this last year and we're just going to do it again this year, and then expect after this we'll just back into Marvel and some other games content. So we'll start off with a quick Alive on One. Jen, you got something here?
Oh yeah, so my quick Alive on One was me highlighting a mistake. I was playing with Thanos in a Black Order list, and I decided to fall back off of Macron point because it's like, he'll be alive on one, and maybe I'll just survive the next attack after I fall back. I did that while holding an extract. And then I forgot that Exodus just attacked me again and proceeded to kill me. And then I felt really stupid because not only am I dazed, I dropped my asset, but I'm also now really far away because, I miscalculated like how badly it would be if Exodus actually dazed me at that point. What was even worse, Steven, was that I had a Blood to Spare card in my hand. So I could have just stayed on the Macron point instead of playing fallback, let him daze me, and then I'll just hit him with something really, really, really hard, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe that'll get rid of him. So yeah, it was a bungle of a move altogether. So that was a poor Alive on One for me.
Yeah. Cool. That sucks.
It sure does.
Yeah, we'll be talking about recording a Black Order episode on Monday. You may or may not be on there. I'm sure we can get you on there, just adjust the time, but yeah, we're just trying to crank through those faction focuses, and so we can start doing some more interesting stuff with like lists and things like that. So, but we'll talk about things to come later. But I guess the next section, hobby catch up. So yeah, I bought some 40K again. No, I mean, to be fair, I do want to take that game completely casually, and so this is related to hobby catch up. Painting, I know, Jen, you don't paint like a lot, but painting an MCP model and painting like an army are very different skills. And I was like sitting there kind of like missing just being able to throw down and play like a 3 or 4 hour like game every once in a while, right? And I like 40K. A lot of people play it, so that one's easy. But I come from, to be honest, I'm just going to own it. I like the universe a lot, and I played a lot of 40K, so it's easy for me to pick back up. But I bought some Tau because I started experimenting for our listeners who hear me talk about the same thing over and over again, which is funny. for a different reason. But um, uh, I started cell shading, like adding it to my style, and Tau are perfect for that. So I bought some Tau to kind of like start that kind of like project. So um, I miss that, to be honest, the painting projects of like building up an army and like your own scheme and like working. It's a slog, but like working through and then like the end product is like really cool. And 40K is not going anywhere, so you at least know like those models. Like you may not play for like 4 years, but it'll be there when you come back.
Sure, until models get old worlded for a bit.
Yeah, maybe. Most of them are okay though. Like GW is usually pretty good about like not rotating models entirely out of their game systems. I mean, that's not always true, but it is mostly true. So,
Yeah, I
so we'll
guess it
see.
depends if they're planning to do a line refresh, right? And I think Tower in probably an okay spot that they're probably not going to do a huge refresh anytime
No, maybe
soon.
like new battle suits or a couple other things, but I don't think everything's going out of there. So,
No, actually,
um,
now that I think about it, I think in the last like let's say I want to say like 5 or 8 years or so, they've actually been refreshing like a lot of the Tau stuff. The stealth suits just got refreshed, I think. So
yeah, they did for Kill Team too. And the Vespids have new models for Kill Team as well, and those are Tau.
yeah,
So
so you're probably pretty safe actually with Tau. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, and even if you aren't, 40K is always something that honors the old models. Like Tyranids, if you own the old Gaunts, and yeah, I know there's new ones, but like you can still use the old ones. You know what I mean? Their big thing is always like at big events, it's like GW products. But if they're older, whatever. I mean, you could use an old Rhino, sort of. No, you can't because it's a different dimension now. But it took them 25 years to update their Rhinos. So
It's all
um,
good.
yeah,
But then your Gaunt has a new head crust.
woo, yeah, yeah. The Gaunts look so similar. It like doesn't really matter. They're better. The new ones are better models, but like they're cooler looking. But they are like very very similar. Yeah, well anyways, so I did that. I'll probably be looking to play that casually. I think I'm just getting a little bored with MCP, to be honest too. I ran into some of the Midgard guys today. I was there. Matt Alex, Sean McNamara was there, Brian was there, and Ryan. I was gonna say his handle, but they were all there and we were just talking, and I was like, I mean, MCP is my main game obviously, and that's the main content we produce in this podcast, but like I feel like every once in a while, I don't know, it just gets kind of, it's like the way they release things, it can get like stale for a couple months where you just like want to play something else.
Yeah,
So I'm trying.
I've actually been having a lot of fun playing the list that we constructed for Shatterpoint.
Yeah,
So just having a different set of muscles being exercised playing that game is kind of nice.
yeah, exactly. And it's a similar concept for me too, like because I was talking to them about like what makes 40K, like okay, whatever, about competitive 40K, like I obviously have my thoughts on it and I'm not going back, but like there's a certain skill in 40K that you can play in casual games that you don't get in MCP, and that's really like unit trading, right? Because like in the dice, we were talking about that with Sean today, and it's like the dice are more reliable. So in reality it becomes like a little bit more like a guaranteed like X amount of points for this unit goes on an objective, and like you have to trade, you're trying to trade up, you're trying to trade the same. So there's a lot of like there's a skill there in that I was good at when I played 40K that's just not in MCP. And list building too is like a art in 40K that doesn't exist here. So you crave certain things at different times, and they're like fun, and you can get lost in it a little bit for a little while, which is kind of nice. So um, yeah, it's just something different, I think. But I'm also learning how to play Kill Team next week. Eric wants to schedule an LOTR game or game day for us to play at the Battle Standard. So, I think I'm looking to like every once in a while branch out and play something else.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, right? This is we're playing with toy soldiers at the end of the day, right? So whatever flavor or franchise you want to delve into, I think it's perfectly fine to like make sure that you keep this hobby fresh for you, right? In whatever way it
yeah,
is, you know. And sometimes that
yeah,
involves delving in different game systems too, right?
absolutely. And the nice thing now, though, is like the MCP community. I think I've met my closest friends in this community than any other. So it's like, like I could be like, oh, hey, want to, like I just said, I'm playing LTR with Eric. you know. So I met Eric through MCP. So it's like MCP is our main game, but you know, a lot of people are willing to like play a game outside of this, and the community is so cool that like just asking people in our own community to play like a different game system every once in a while is like a really cool thing that just because they're cool people, right? So
Yeah.
so thank you MCP for bringing us that, bringing me and everyone else that. So thank you for not being dicks, where you spend half your weekends miserable. Looking at you, 40K. I'm not going back to that. You know, like I think at the most I'll ever do is like play in like a really really local tournament. You know, once in a while, just to have fun and bring out my like cool painted army. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
But all right. On that note, speaking of local tournaments, we have a couple upcoming events. I didn't ask if you were doing any hobbying.
It's fine. All right, let me talk about Captain Con really quick.
Okay.
Captain Con is fast approaching. We're still looking for more teams of 3. You just have to have unique characters, but otherwise you can share tactics cards and you can share crisis cards, and they can be repeated.
Mm-hmm.
So the team event's happening on January 31st and February 1st in Warwick, Rhode Island at Captain Con. Please get your tickets at CaptainCon.com, I believe. And then I am so bad. Sorry. Take 2. Please get your tickets at CaptainCon.com. You can pay one time to enter your entire team on that, and it's a great bargain as well. Please also call the hotel for great hotel rates that you can find for very, very affordable stays at there. Parking is plentiful, and it's a great time full of great people running this event. Currently, we have 6 teams actually signed up.
Wait,
at the
we
moment.
got to 6 already? Nice.
We got 6, yep, at the moment. So various people from the Northeast that you may be familiar with are coming for this event, and we're happy to have you. But also, if you don't have a full team, we are having a list running right now of singles and pairs that are looking to be paired up as teams of 3. So just please reach out to myself, Eric, or Shane York, and we're happy to try to get you set up with the team so you can enjoy this event and all of its full team glory, that is. All right? So that's it for Captain Con. Please check it out and sign up. And let me know if you're interested at all. All right, thanks.
You sounded like a phone call. All right, thank you. Leave a message. Bye. Yeah, no, great. Well, that happened over the weekend. It was at like 2 teams, and then you were busting some balls. So cool.
It helps. I told Shane this was like, give me the control of hosting. So he added me as a host. I'm just like, it's like, okay, we're just going to start putting names down now.
Yeah. No, I think one of the things about event like advertising is you have to be aggressive about it to an extent.
Attrition Jen is back for
he's back, baby. No, to be honest, the next event I've also been forcing people to been pretty aggressive with. Our Live on One tournament that you and I are TOing is in March, so a couple months out, but we already got 16 people signed up for that. So
yeah,
pretty good so far. We want to hit 40. We can extend it. We're capping it at 40 right now, but we're looking to extend that out possibly to even like 44 if we can get the numbers. So I know it's the week before Adepticon on March 21st. It's a Saturday. It's going to be a one-day event, Midgard, where it's at, in New Hampshire. It's only letting us do one day. So that's fine. But we're going to donate to Dana-Farber again. Just given some like personal things that have happened and like things like that. We just want to, I think we're going to stick with that same charity this year. Kind of the history behind that. You can listen to last year. We kind of covered that about Nick's history and how this kind of like came about. But that's in March. So sign up for that. I'm sure I think Simon signed up. So some of the Canadians might be coming down, people from Jersey as well. So like maybe there's a bed B&B you can get on. I don't know. Is that what it's called? Bed B&B?
Airbnb?
Oh, yep. That's the one.
Otherwise it would be bed and breakfast.
Bed. Yeah. Well, hey, that's my kind of stay. So, but yeah, so that's on March 21st. I will say one thing about that I have to figure out. Last year we made a t-shirt and we did a raffle, and I want to do the raffle again, and I'm going to paint something up for it, but I think we're going to open that up to donations and then kind of raffle it off, and you can donate anywhere, and you can just send me the things that you want to donate. Obviously, I'm not going to give my personal address out on air, but you can DM me or connect on the Live on One Discord, and no matter where you are in the world too, if you want to donate something, we'll raffle it off, and it'll go to the Dana Farber Cancer Institute too, the money for that. So, and we did last year we did all the proceeds from the raffle went straight to the charity, and as well as like some of the ticket price goes. Can't guarantee all. Last year, Midgard did match us what we raised. We don't know if that's going to happen again. That we just don't know. So they're not like structured with that. So, but that's why the raffle kind of like is the real kind of money generator. And the t-shirts, we'll make some t-shirts again. Although I have to reach out to Nick and ask him for an art thing. So, yeah, we accidentally went a little longer today for the intro. Oh, we're still at 15. Cool. So those are the two events. I don't think there's anything else, Jen, unless you have something.
No super local ones that mention at this point, other than Maddox is getting some stuff ready for next year at the at Crossroads, I think. But I'll do the double check for those dates. So you'll see those on a future podcast episode.
Yeah, Rob and Maddox are both hosting tournaments. One in Rhode Island, one in Maine on the 3rd of January, which is in like 2 days.
Never mind. We're talking that now. Go join that tournament because it's going to be probably the weekend that this releases, actually. So you should go to that tournament in Crossroads.
Exactly.
Go.
Exactly. I'm actually thinking I haven't been there in so long, so thinking of going, but I don't think Maddox is going. I think John Falco is the one TOing it. So.
Oh, I thought Max was running it, like as the Longshanks host.
I think he just created the event so then he could link it to, because he just duplicates them, as TOs do. So I think he just did that and handed it over to John. So
okay. Well, you should still support our MCP.
If you don't like Steven Maddox, then go, because he won't be there. That's so mean. I'm sorry, Steven. I didn't mean it. Come back, baby, come back. All right. So we've got some content that we have to get through. Oh, it still says dorm roundtable. I love how we just like copy the old ones and repaste them in our notes. Okay, so we're going over basically 2025 and what kind of happened, and recapping the year in MCP, and as well as the some of our own things, and like then we're going to talk about what we learned and kind of like where we're going from here in general. Cool.
Yeah. So do you want to start on the characters? Or do you want to talk about the podcast itself? Like what would
I'll do the podcast. I think the podcast real quick, and I'll put the timestamp on after this. You know what I mean? Okay. So that if people don't want to listen to this, they can jump ahead. So a Live on 1 year in review. Okay. Man. I mean, what a year. It was a crazy year for this podcast. I would actually re-listen to the old show today. Jen knows this, but for our listeners, I re-listened to last year's review, and I actually wrote some stuff here that we talked about to reflect on a little bit, but we've lost a few members. We've gained a few. We've had dark eras in our lives that have caused us to miss lots of episodes. It's kind of crazy. Jin, you joined in March, and so before that, it was at this time last year, Nick, Maddox, and I were recording episodes on our own, which feels weird now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're like coordinating episodes, right? Getting people together, and like you're recording Sundays, right? At a is it bi-weekly at the time?
I think we were just kind of doing whatever. We tried for bi-weekly, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was bi-weekly. It was our goal. Yeah, I guess like this year too, it felt like the podcast came more into my hands for a little while. Like, and it became obvious at some point that I was the one really pushing it forward, so to speak. At least even in just terms of like scheduling.
Yeah. I know you're trying some stuff out, like what was it, the turn one setups and whatnot. I
Oh,
think
turn
you're
zero. Yeah, we were doing those at the beginning of last year.
yep. And
You were on one actually with Maddox.
yes, because we I think did we talk about our Web Warrior Spider Foes setup? Was that it?
Was it an Everwinter game? Maybe.
Oh no, it was something else. That's right. Yeah, because I played with everyone. Right? I think that was the game that Maddox had a name where that block like 6 or 7 blocks on 4 dice, and I was losing my mind there.
Oh yeah, his golden dice.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were insane or are insane. Yeah, yeah. So we tried that out for a while. It didn't really work. Well, it did work. I liked it, and the numbers were good. Um, it just like I don't know. We just never the shorts. I don't know. The shorts kind of like were a way for Maddox to come on and record real quick, and they weren't regularly scheduled ever, so they kind of like didn't didn't take off. I think one of the biggest things I learned about podcasting and being kind of like the manager of a podcast is that you have to have schedules and you have to have times. People just don't show up if you don't. Um, and I think that was like pretty big lesson. So,
yeah.
um,
If you're not like a type A, like in many aspects, like as far as like making sure to adhere to schedules and whatnot, or like just having that, you know, listen, we have various degrees of self discipline.
mm,
I'm not going to claim that I'm the best when it comes to this.
yeah,
So I really appreciate when there's a schedule and there's some sort of like it's like, hey, do we have any idea of like what's coming down the grapevine as far as like what topics to talk about? Like,
you
you
must
know,
love my calendar then.
I mean, it's definitely an improvement to what it was before,
Oh,
which was you
you
know
got some criticism, Jim?
well, all right, let's a little peek behind the curtain, folks. Like Steven, like sometimes will come to me and just like say, "Hey, you want to record?" It's like, "Sure." Did you have a topic? And I was like, "I don't know." It's like cool. We have to record in 3 hours, by the way.
Meanwhile, that was at the beginning of the year. I think I've stopped doing that. I think for the most part.
No, yeah, no, you've gotten much better about that. But like, I was like, "Oh boy, we're just gonna."
Yeah, we to be fair, like the transition from Nick and Steven over to kind of basically you and I starting to do it um, was like a big transition in like working with different people. And like Nick and Steven, we had our time, but it was very ad hoc. I think Nick and I even did an episode at one point and we said like we called it winging it because literally we just went on and had nothing to talk about and then made it work.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it
I
ended up
don't
being
like
a
doing
lore
that anymore.
episode.
What's up?
Oh no, to your credit, like it did end up being a nice little like lore episode between
Yeah.
you and Nick, like talking about Marvel like lore, I think, and it was really really nice. Like as a listener at the time.
Yeah. No, and I think like one of the biggest things or like one of the really big downsides of not having Nick on anymore, and maybe he'll come back at some point, but it's like he did bring that kind of like narrative element pretty deeply. He never took the game seriously at all. Like a little bit, maybe, but like it was mostly about putting down models that he liked from like comics, that he read, and like really experimenting with that side of this game. And I'm not saying we've lost that, but it's definitely not as strong um, as when he was on here, and that's why I liked having Nick on a lot. So, um, yeah, so, pour one out for your homie. We have moved and transitioned, and, we are where we are, and I'm happy with where we are, but like Nick did add that. I'm saying I love you, Nick. Thank you. If you
Yeah,
even still listen to this.
like no one's like replaced. It's more like you bring on a new crew that will have different attributes, right? And it'll give you a different kind of mix, and it's a different alloy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
made. You know,
Yeah, it's very true. It's like alchemy, the combining of metals to create a new product, and Alive on One has certainly gone through that this year. I don't know why I brought up alchemy, but here we are. I'm reading a lot about it. Actually, I have like 6 books around me about alchemy, but fun, fun Stephen facts. But um, yeah, yeah, my life is kind of crazy sometimes. Like Christmas yesterday, I just I read all day, so I have like a bunch of books around me where I'm recording. Um, All right, so yeah, we had the turn zero. Maddox and Nick kind of left. I don't think I've said that bluntly before. They're always welcome back, but this is, as Jim was just saying, this is taken on a life of its own. Um, and with a new crew and a new set of people, and we're excited about where it's going to go. We're just reflecting on 2025. So, about a year ago, you were listening to Nick, Maddox, and I, and now it's a whole new cast of characters. So, uh, interesting.
Yep.
um,
The Trench Crusade episode that became I feel like a meme at some
dude,
point.
it's still one of our best. So for listeners who, I'm the only one who looks at the numbers. Um, our Trench Crusade episode continues to be like one of our top 20 episodes that we've ever recorded. So people are still fucking listening to it, even as the years gone on, and we haven't done anything else. So, and we're just to make it clear, we're not going to do anything else. None of us play Trench Crusade, nor I think it's cool. I just don't have the time, or people, realistically. So, um, yeah. Also, here we talked a lot about in 2025. We were talking about doing Star Trek. We were talking about doing Halo Flashpoint, Spearhead, Relic Blade. So none of those ever happened, nor will they. So, sorry, sorry, not sorry.
I didn't even know
Um,
there was a Star Trek game. What the hell?
yeah, no, it's actually really cool. And it is actually really, really, really cool. It's like they come no, they don't come pre-painted. It was from like, I think it's from WizKids was going to release it. I have to quickly Google this again. Star Trek miniatures. Oh yeah, there it is. It is from WizKids. Yeah, it's like a kind of like an X-wing type game. Into the Unknown. Star Trek Into the Unknown is the title of it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Starship battles make a lot more sense. I was thinking it was going to be like ground level. I'm just like, is it a bunch of red shirts and blue shirts? You know.
Yeah, no, but it honestly was very cool because like kind of like unlike X-Wing where the whole map was a battle, this was like you have this little sphere where you're battling, but then outside the sphere you like it's a resource game. So you're exploring the planets and like mining resources and things. I never played it, but like that concept seems pretty interesting. And it was only when you enter the battle do you actually like start, the kind of killing aspect of the game.
Huh.
Um
Maybe
yeah,
something
so
more like a more streamlined Twilight Imperium situation.
I've never played that, but if that's what that's like, then sure.
There's that's a whole different podcast. Let's say it's a very
Yeah.
complex game. Shout outs if you enjoy it. It's not for me. At the end of the day, I've realized.
Yeah, I've heard it takes forever. That's what I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Um,
game, but it is a long game, and it takes a certain type of individual to enjoy those. I think.
yeah, probably people who may play. No, I think Warhammer even is a little different, but yeah. So that was kind of like the podcast over the year. Jen, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, so I think just like yeah, like you said, to learn how to work with people, it definitely was a big exercise in doing a regular scheduled content, right? Especially uh, making episodes deliverable, right, on a weekly or biweekly basis at some point. So that
Yeah,
was
and this
a
is probably your
challenge.
longest content production project, huh? At this point,
It
like
is,
more
yeah.
regular, yeah.
Yeah, like the stuff we were doing at RSMP was like was really good. I'm very proud of that work, but definitely there was a lot more time to gestate, right, between episodes. But because this was much more of a rapid fire situation, I felt like you had to be ready to riff a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you just sort of had to keep thinking about like what sort of ideas, right, you want to put out there, and what kind of like content you want to put out there, right, for people, you know.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing too is like I'll obviously have like give you guys the leash, but like when it comes down to it too, like I tend to veto things too. So like people have like ideas, and sometimes I don't think they're a good idea, so I'll say it. You know what I mean? Um, that doesn't mean I don't let you guys record it, but I guess like what I'm saying is like there's like having ideas, and there's also managing the ideas and like when to release content, what's doing well, like what do we want to regularly put out so people are engaging, things like that. Like I didn't think about those things until the end of this year, realistically.
Yeah,
Um,
and I
and
want to say that probably Sean, right, and Eric did a lot when they came on board to help us with those like kind of
they
situations, as
have,
far as like, yeah,
yeah, they absolutely have, and like I love, like I love the episode Inhumans episode you and Eric did, because it was like very different and super in depth, and I learned a lot. Which, you know, it's kind of funny. Like the episodes I'm not on, I'll listen to, and like very often I'll be like, oh wow, yeah, you know, like you and Mike did the Christmas episode last week, and I was listening to it and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play Black Order. It didn't work out, but you know, it did. It
I
was.
appreciate that. Like right after you looked into the raw file, you were just like, "So Jade, you want to play a game of Black Order?"
Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of inspired me to try them out. Turns out, they're less fun on the table than I imagined. But
yeah, that's why we have 3 fixed characters that we
yeah,
submitted.
yeah, it'd be fun to play them, the cards that you built, and like try them out in that you know, in that respect. I know like that's a super casual game, but like that would be a lot of fun. Um, anyways, though, yeah, it was an interesting year. I think we have grown a lot in structure, and a lot in like being able to give content regularly. We're on a once a week, if not more than that now, kind of schedule. So with like also expanding to Shatterpoint a little bit, I got to ride Mike a little harder, I think, on those. I'm realizing that out of all of us, he's a little bit less structured. So, but you know, that's again just like working with different people.
Yeah, but we also really appreciate Mike coming on, right?
Oh, I love Mike, fucking
like,
kid.
Like he
He's
gives
a
us
fanboy. Fucking first time I met him, he goes, "Oh, I love your point." I'll never forget that game because every other game since then has been nothing like it. So polite. Oh, I really like your podcast. It's the best one that I listen to. And then he like every move I made, which was like clearly not great moves, he'd be like, "Great move, Steven. That was great." Some things you can't get back.
Listen. I like to think that, you know, like as you get closer to people from New Jersey, the more they insult you, the more, you know, they actually like
That
you.
means the more they like you. Yeah, yeah. Like
So,
I agree. For some of them are just. I guess Ben's not from New Jersey,
no, he's not.
so it doesn't count.
He just gives you death threats the more he likes you.
Yeah, I think Art's probably the most cordial of everyone from Jersey.
Oh yeah. But that doesn't stop him from being his own brand of sass as well, which I always
for
appreciate.
for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk about that later, because that's an event. But yeah, so that's a live on one. We have some ideas going forward, and you know, we'll just say that, and then we'll be moving on to season 3. So like, welcome to like another year of us, which is kind of crazy. We've been recording for a year and a half, and we have like 80 episodes or something, 68 or something like that.
I mean, you went to a more aggressive release schedule, so yes, that will happen, right?
I know, Jen, but like it's crazy. All right, just allow me this. I forget how many episodes we do have, but it's like 60 something at this point. So
yeah, sounds right.
We started in 2024 though, so and it's gonna be 2026. So it's kind of crazy. The summer will be 2 years. Anyways, all right. Enough with the stappy stuff. Let's talk some MCP. Let me just look at the timestamp here, 33, so I can put in the episode. Just I'm like taking notes as we're recording. All right, though. What a crazy year for It wasn't actually that crazy for Marvel. I didn't feel like, you know, like Thor 2 was the year before, so like that felt pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually the beginning of this year too, wasn't it?
So Thor 2 was released, I think, back in like September of 2024. I want to say.
When did it get nerfed?
So beginning of the year, right? The Decepticon came down with the hammer. Both Thanos, you know, his gauntlets were crushed. Thor's hammer was broken.
Yeah, that was actually a tournament. I have a funny story about that. A quick kind of anecdote. So I didn't play Thanos Cabal like at all in the entirety of the MCP whatever in my career, and then like about a week and a half before he got nerfed, I picked him up, and there was a tournament. I remember it came out on a Friday, the nerf to Thor and the nerf to Thanos, and I was like at Planet Fitness when it happened, that's not relevant. But I remember Stephen Maddox, because there was a Crossroads tournament the next day, and Stephen Maddox had everyone vote if they wanted the changes, and everyone but me voted yes. I was like, I want to play Thanos. I just picked him up. Turns out, though, I ended up bringing a wide cabal with Dormammu and winning that event anyways. So suck it. I was like, you guys didn't let me use my fun toys, and I still beat you. So,
Yep. This was pre-buffed Dormammu as well.
yeah. That was old Dormammu. I played like wide cabal with Dracula. It was actually pretty cool. I kind of want to revisit that list at some point. But
Yeah, I think the Cabal's pretty underplayed, like at the
yeah,
moment.
they got fucking legs, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
but anyways, so I guess we'll start at the beginning, which is reverse order. What I have them written here, Jin.
Yeah, I was about to say we should go in reverse order the list because that's going to be the chronological order, right?
Mm-hmm. So the first drop of the year was Nova Yondu and Elsa Man Thing. I think they all came out on the same day.
I think so. Yeah.
Also, I want to note here. So I was like typing up this list, and I felt like this was the year of like releases that I felt like I had a lot. Like, how do I phrase this? There's like a lot to experiment with here that I haven't done yet. Like with a lot of these models. I don't know why that is, but it just feels like a year of like there's a lot more potential to be tapped in with some of these kits, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I believe that. And there's probably, things even released from last year, right? That also are still underexplored,
Yeah. And maybe that's something I need to think about myself, and maybe I'll reflect on that in the section that we have of that. But like, maybe I'm getting into this mindset of like what's good and what's not good, and that's like a problem for me personally. But anyways, we'll
Well,
get to that when we get to that.
so I will touch on that really quick though, just to recontextualize stuff. Whenever we have like a refresh as far as like any leaders or like let's say the Doctor Strange right buff like that happened like last May, you know that's a big deal because everybody that was in Defenders you should relook at, right, because like now you have a new lens to look at everybody, right? So maybe yes you didn't explore them when they first came out, but maybe even that because something changed either in the crisis setup or like character buffs, right, that cascade down to other characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna let you like I guess explore things with a little more purpose, and like maybe they
Yeah.
also will feel much more powerful, right, than when you initially had a first impression.
I also think I don't play a lot of these affiliations actually, so that might
Oh yeah,
be also some of that.
are you sure? Let's see.
One I play.
Okay.
Well, I mean, okay, but yeah, let's not talk about this year. But last year, I only really played one of those affiliations. Seriously, I guess. But anyways, yeah, no, that's true. Anyways, Nova Yondu, Elsa Man Thing, they came out. Man Thing did make a splash in like Midnight Suns pretty immediately, I think. Because they had also just got the monsters too, so people were already running in Kontu from the November, so they got kind of a buff there. Nova Yondu, no one liked Yondu until recently. With his
So
health buff.
yeah, the 7/6 health buff definitely you know gives everybody a second look at him, but he definitely wasn't bad before because he was like a mobile skirmishing model with mission objective, which was objectively good. I think it's just because
Mm,
like he was only in Guardians, and four threats are just so competitive, right? That
yeah,
it was he had to steal the spotlight from a Shang-Chi like flex instead, right?
or
And
Bill because he's
or Bill,
affiliated. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So within affiliation, right, you didn't see him like run so much, but like in a vacuum, the kid's good, right?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I kind of liked him. Nova is also really good. I think you only see him in Guardians, and I know there's a little while there that people were trying him out elsewhere. I think that's sort of like calmed down a bit. Not that it should or anything, but yeah, I think I only see Nova now if there's a
Yeah,
Guardians
I think
list.
the initial pitch of the kid is that he is, like he hits one thing like really really hard, maybe a couple things like really really hard, right?
Yeah.
Um, but because like it was only like really only so many models that he can affect outside of the the text card that lets you push everybody away. I think what it ended up happening was that it's like, yeah, for 5 threat, we need our 5 threats to affect more models, and I understand that's kind of a reason that the usage of him kind of like slowed down. That's that.
Yeah. And this was kind of since like late 2024 and into 2025. They, to talk about, I guess, like one cool thing about doing a year in review is we can look at like trends of the game, like overall, and how they progressed. AMG's put out a ton of good 5 threats in the past year and a half, and that space is like super crowded for, especially for splashing. Um, Especially like, we back to kind of like my earlier conversation a little bit about Warhammer and like dice consistency and how like it's a D6 model, and if you can make something hit on twos with rerolls, it's almost guaranteed to always hit. Versus MCP, rerolls are even more powerful because the dice is so variant, right? So I think someone like Namor, right, it's gonna or Zemo are gonna be kind of tokens because they dice fix on anybody. So you have to kind of compete with that in the space for 5 threats. And Nova has a great space in Guardians. I just don't think he does that, kind of sort of reliability and like as a splash.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess my only criticism, like 2025 has proved me that it's like, hey, if you're like an established like splashable like S tier threat at X level, then it's really hard, right, to take these newer models like and put them in there. So for instance, like we're talking about Nova, it's like, okay, you could splash Nova, but there's also Namor, King T'Challa, and Red Skull 2.
Red Skull 2, yeah.
Just like it's like always like, oh man, it's rough, right? So then you have to, but then if you only affiliated in one affiliation, and if you're not the first pick of that affiliation, that's rough, man.
Yeah, it makes a lot of models. I guess we're talking about in context of like playing with a very like competitive. What do you call that? Efficient list, right?
Yeah. This only applies to the most sweatiest of list buildings. Like obviously, if you're playing if you like playing in affiliation, obviously Nova is a great 5 threat in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like no question there.
I mean, Arch just won Everwinter with him in his list, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That guy's real annoying, actually, when you prepare him for the right tool set. But it's trying to identify the right situations, right? Versus like these all rounder like splashes that people tend to take.
Yeah, like Namor. Fucking Namor. Who knew it would be Namor and Zemo? Like, of course. The two least iconic Marvel characters, but here we are.
Listen, the Wakanda Forever came out. Yeah, Namor's pretty cool.
All right.
Namor.
So Namor. I actually recently watched that movie, so again, it's not as bad as I thought. So
no, it's fine. So, also, do you want to just touch on else? I know we talked about Man Thing for a second, but yeah, Man Thing definitely I think is like people were low on, but like he's gotten progressively better over the course of the year as people realize that it's like a lockjaw teleport that you don't have to spend action on. It's pretty good.
Tough safe grab too for Midnight Suns, which is good for them. So
yeah, and he brings a different kind of like Luke Cage style resilience where he's a person that can sit in the midline and he doesn't die necessarily super quick either, right? So he's been a very interesting like trajectory growth, and it's like a slow build, to people accepting him as a good splash 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true. It took a while, but I feel like with a lot of things with MCP, it takes a while for people to like start trying stuff out. So
yeah, of course. Elsa, I think, man, people are still trying to make Elsa work, and I don't want to give up hope that there's something there. It's just that the bump on Blade is always so.
It's so good.
It's so good from a versatility standpoint, right? Like because you're in full agency of like when you want to bump, right? For Blade, whereas like Elsa, sometimes like none of the leadership stuff is going to be applicable to a situation. If they already got the root condition, there's no one like within 2. There's no healing or what was it? No damage reduction. So sometimes the leadership can feel dead depending on the targets you're doing. But there are other cases, dude, that it does feel great when the bullets are just applicable to the model, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And I know Sean, a recent add to the podcast, has really tried to make Elsa work. So people are trying it for sure. Maybe it's a mission thing. I don't know. So
yeah. So more to come, but like I'm not ready to write her off just yet. And maybe if AMG is planning to do some more health buffs like down the road, like maybe she gets a look at, and maybe that's all it
Yeah.
needs. Who knows? you know.
Yeah, that happens in a lot of affiliations. So like they'll release a leader, and I mean, Inhumans is another good example. Even though people do try out Max and whatever, um, I guess now would be a good time to try Max too. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get too far into that, but
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully we see more Elsa because it is a cool kit. She's a cool model. Annoying to build, actually, but actually there's kind of a lot of that this year. But anyways, so the next thing that was released was the Thor 2 buffs, Thanos, sorry, not buffs, the nerfs, and then the EMAPs were gone from the game at the same time, and we got the War of the Kings box with the mission rotation. So that was really cool. I'm glad they committed to that as a game system. Oh, excuse me, and I really like that we're on a year schedule now for new missions and rotations and things because it's just like the times when they change things are when I think the community is most active, right? There's
yeah,
that period of time where everyone's trying to figure it out, where you're loving getting games in because you're like, oh, I'm playing this mission, I'm playing this mission, let's do this, let's try this. And I think like having that at least once per year is really nice. So that was cool, and I'm excited for like the next go around in a couple of months too. So
yeah. I think the them finally conceptualizing a product, right, where it's like one, we're giving you thematic missions, right? That so if people just want to play these out of the box, right? At your kitchen table, you can play these scenarios like in a like a short, very like non-committal campaign, right? That you can do.
yeah,
But then it also gives you brand new missions, right? And then you are now able to rotate out missions to keep the game fresh. And I think that was a great thing for them to do because previously the EMAP like Grindfest was like pretty rough for a lot of builds and archetypes of the game. But then the pendulum then swings right to a different skill set, right? So mid range and scoring teams, right, definitely feel a lot better under the War of Kings like Crisis Rotation.
yeah, and also from that kind of narrative standpoint too, like it's really cool what they did. Like if you look at the names of the missions, and I know some people know this, but I'll repeat it. It's from like one run of comics. This whole storyline where they like basically went out and designed a whole mission set involving just that storyline, and all the names are titled based on like kind of comic panels and things like that. So like it's actually a really really cool idea, and I'm glad they were able to kind of monetize that because not only as like a player do you get to like kind of immerse yourself in a year for like this year we know it's kind of like going to be Sentinels themed, so there's going to be like some cool X-Men, probably 97 titles I'm guessing, like where they take that from, but I mean we'll see. But I really like that idea. It's a cool thematic. It hits like all the check boxes, right? Like it hits the competitive need for like new missions, hits the narrative need for like a storyline, and they made it so you could actually play on all of them like kind of consecutively, right?
Yeah, so they were made to sort of be played in order, right? And that sort of tells you like a little bit of a story, like in the process, which I thought was
Super
very
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
Also,
super cool.
Gladiator was released in this box as
Yeah,
well.
that guy.
Yeah, so this is really great, right? Because like this is a time they can design a model that is they're unabashedly unaffiliated, right? That you can just sort of put in as a concept, right? Even though we don't have the Shi'ar Empire like coming anytime soon, it seems like.
Yeah, probably not ever, but yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
What?
maybe I don't know. I want Eternals to come before I want Shi'ar Empire to come. So,
All right, fair.
um, yeah, I think Eternals would be really cool, and then maybe Thanos can get like some kind of affiliation, a second one. But anyways,
But yeah, so initial impressions of Gladiator. Do you remember what the buzz around Gladiator was when he was first previewed in the book?
nah, I don't at all.
Okay. I don't know. It was one of those very trepidatious because they're just like, it's like, this guy seems crazy. Like, because they think about like the dice ceiling
Look
that
at
this guy
him;
can
he's
get.
got confidence.
I mean, what is it, like 10, 11 dice I beams that he can just like
Oh,
consider
that's right.
just melt your butt, like. So,
Yeah, to
like,
be fair, I played into someone using Gladiator, and because I didn't know at all what he did, I lost that game. So I was
Yeah.
like, who's this guy? But yeah, yeah, they kind of hyped him up. I do remember that vaguely.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think though in practice, like it he definitely was like a lot less scary in person. Like obviously, like if you can get the momentum and protect him and keep his tokens going, it's great. He's got that comeback like hit you, charge and hit
hmm.
you if you daze like a friend, right? That's also a really annoying card to play around because sometimes like it's like wha bam, charge 6 dice plus like coming at you all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Um, but the fact is, like, I think him being a size two with no immunities, right, and any damage, right, is going to like reduce his confidence token. So, like, don't ever give him a cube because he's going to lose confidence while holding a cube, for instance.
I don't know how to make. I had a joke there, and it since left me. But um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Gladiators, whatever. I'm not. I think the thing with me and him is just like I just don't care about that character at all. I'm hoping this year they're like mission box characters, someone that is like a little bit more iconic. Um,
I think
you
it's
know, where
implied that those two Sentinel models, I think,
which
are
ones?
I forgot what they were called, but they were like they're like smaller Sentinels. I think that
The really cool
potentially
looking one.
I I forgot at this point.
Okay,
So yeah,
no worries. Yeah, but I think more importantly though, like this box, regardless of the fact that it was Gladiator, is like a good step for them. So
yeah,
I really appreciated it. So I mean I bought it. Yeah, I had
yeah.
to.
So
So
everyone has like a mohawk like Superman that they have like in their bill pile somewhere.
yeah, yeah, still on the screw for some of us. But
Yeah, but you definitely was like a good experiment, and I think like for the people that like this character, like you can definitely run him. Like
yeah,
he's fine, but he definitely didn't overtake the game as some people. There's always like sky is falling like gamers, right? So
yeah,
thankfully, Gladiator is definitely not the sky is falling kind of model, so it's fine.
yeah. I realized I was deleting these, and we probably should leave them up in case for us internally, in case these are some of our favorite models for the year. Um, yeah. So the next one we have after that. So everything changed after that. That was a great experimenting time, I think, for MCP. I know I played a ton more during that time, among others, and excited for this year's to come too. That'll be a nice change of scenery, and I'm changing the landscape of MCP because the missions, like hands down, like create the way you build lists. So um, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it this year for the next season. So but then after that, during the there was a oh no, it was in the next thing's not Phoenix. It is the Inhuman Royal Court, which permanently changed Inhumans forever.
Yeah, this
To
is a
be
big
fair,
deal. I
yeah,
remember people were because the box was supposed to be released in time for Adepticon, so I knew some people that were preparing a humans list. I think with the well, there wasn't much time, but like you know you could presumably like if they released on time and you knew the panel of plays, you could like try to do that. And I had some people last minute that were thinking about doing that, but it didn't quite work out that way because the release just didn't work out. But
yeah,
when they finally did release, though, man, Torbjorn, like whoever, yeah, like in Europe, they just like went on a tear, and then Europe just was like just mortified by humans, like at that point.
yeah.
Um,
They're really good for like 8 months there, or 6 or 7 at least.
yeah, I think
I
when
mean,
the
they became the meta monsters that everyone's afraid to play.
yeah, I think people didn't. It took a bit for people to catch on, but like
Here
everybody,
for sure,
yeah,
in the United States for sure.
yeah, just like the combination of Terra Genesis and Great Refuge, just like and under Black Bolt One's leadership was like an incredibly powerful pressure tool that you can put on
Yeah,
people. I remember when they were first releasing these models, though. Like I think predictably, like everyone was like, "Oh, Gorgon's like amazing," like he's gonna be great. And newsflash, he's great. So the public was right, I think, on Gorgon.
yeah. Yeah, and
Uh,
then I mean the other one though, like that's really good for Black Bolt. It was kind of weirdly enough, it was even though they had a new leadership in there and King Black Bolt, it became the best box for the Black Bolt 1 leadership because it had I mean, Gorgon's great, don't get me wrong, but like I think you just get the leadership going from Karnak. Like that turn one
Yes.
meditate pass, like that
Yes.
move is super powerful. So
Yeah, they have an in-affiliation battery power that isn't Lockjaw anymore, and Karnak can more actively try to participate in the game. Whereas like Lockjaw was mainly support, right, at the time. So
yeah,
that was a nice like option you have for battery models.
yeah, um,
But there were also two leaderships like that got released like in that
yeah. The
pack.
Medusa one, the Max one.
Yeah, so Eric and I obviously talked about the Medusa leadership. I think it's just terribly unexplored right now, just because it takes the opportunity cost of a tactics card is a lot for people to try it. We
Yeah,
do also know some diehard like Maximus players, and I think people really wrote off Maximus originally just because like it's like, oh, you can displace yourself when you get attacked, and the two like physical defense was like laughable. And don't get me wrong, like they do hurt, but I don't think it's as bad as it is like once you're actually playing with them, because
there are worse leaders, Jin.
they are
Like
definitely
stat
worse.
wise.
Yeah. A free reroll each turn is not the worst thing honestly in the world. It very rarely is like a negative,
Yeah,
because usually there's at least one dice that you want to reroll. And Maximus
yeah,
himself is become a pretty impressive like little like the debuff like utility knife here character, because he's got a good displacement, because when he can just like move you away after you've activated, and the fact that he's got like the best version of the witty banter disruption field from Crimson Dynamo. It lets you have all this information, and you can roll two other dice, which is like backbreaking sometimes for very important attack rolls.
yeah. Yeah. If you want to know more, check out Eric and Jin's 2.5 hour Inhuman episode.
Yep. And it's currently right now people are pretty. I think people were nervous about King Black Bolt. It turns out he's fine. It
Yeah,
seems like
he's really a criminal syndicate model. That's what people are missing.
actually, yeah. If anything, I think people have been finding some success with him under like Scott Cyclops
Oh,
X-Men.
really? That's cool too.
Yeah.
I want to use my plastic card. There's a great reason to.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, King Black Bolt, he's popping up really as like a splash more so than anything else that I see him more often.
Yeah.
But occasionally you'll see a Max list that'll have him, and maybe in the future we'll see a Medusa list with King Black Bolt as well. But
Yeah, maybe the new missions will open up some like different leadership space. But I mean, to be fair, like that Black Bolt leadership is good on any mission, so it's hard to say that that'll actually happen. So
maybe if the condition game gets really bad and becomes like you really need to start a piece, like I'll say this, like King Black Bolt is like really really sturdy. Like he is really hard to put down at the end of the day.
One of the most sturdy models I think in the game at this point.
Yeah, so I think if the mission calls for him to answer a question, like he might be your answer, So
well, also there's a nice little model coming out soon named Gladiator, and King Black Bolt will just be stupid with Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Yeah, because can't Gladiator like add defense and all that reroll and like. Oh, not Gladiator. My bad. Adam Warlock.
Oh, I was about to say.
I'm so sorry.
Are you trolling Gladiator?
No. I was looking at War of the Kings on our document, and I said Gladiator. I meant Adam Warlock, but that's we'll see where that goes to.
Yeah,
so.
that's definitely more room to be explored there. Inhuman Royal Court, the huge boon propelled Inhumans to basically the top of the leaderships.
That box made them the meta monsters they were for this past year, for sure. I don't think without Gorgon or Karnak, especially Gorgon, Karnak too, both of them, I don't think we would have seen. I mean,
well,
we don't
Grave Refuge
know,
is also the thing too. It's Gorgon, it's Karnak.
Oh, that came out in that box.
And Grave Refuge, all being part of that package, and they were incredible, like movement meta wise for this affiliation.
Yeah, and that's why Inhumans took over the meta for like a year. So,
I mean, they're still nothing's changed. They're still like the best on top there with APOC at the moment.
Yeah, that's arguable because Dorm's the best. But anyways.
Okay, all right.
Tomato.
So what's next?
We have, which I spelled incorrectly here, Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Honestly, I don't
Are
know.
you
This
hooked on
model,
Phoenix?
Phoenix. It's kind of a bummer. So everyone wants her to be good. I will say that, and it's a really cool fucking model. And I've seen some amazing paint jobs on Phoenix, like really amazing. Like some of the things people have posted, like easily, because like the flames, people who are good at like flame painting, like can really like take off with her model because it's just like literally all flames on her Phoenix side. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know much to say. Like I know people try to make her work. I honestly don't even know what she does still. I'll just never forget that one game I watched of you and Ben playing on TTS where he took her in Winter Guard, and it ended up just like turn 3 or 4, just blowing up and killing both of your teams. And I feel like that's a pretty common play pattern for Miss Green Jean Grey. So,
Yeah, I think initially upon spoilage, people were again very nervous because they're just
yeah,
like we just did. They
I
just were.
was.
It was
I
hard
thought
to
she was
kind
going
of
to be
figure
OP.
out what was going to go on, you know. But the more I read it, the more it became apparent that it's like okay, the front side, quote unquote, of Jean Grey's Phoenix is like a support model, but with like very awkward attacks, right, and very
Mm-hmm.
lack of action compression.
Yeah.
So basically, and she herself was actually pretty controllable. It was really it's really rough because her burden resolve that the anti displacement power that she has only works for other allies and not for herself. So she became a model that if she didn't pick up an objective, you kind of just ignored a lot of the times, if possible, and just like concentrate on just like getting rid of the other opponent's models instead. So because
Yeah.
the idea is you want to flip her into Phoenix, but don't give her any power, because if she doesn't have any power, then she can't do the molecular beam, which is the thing that
Yep.
you're actually like really scared about.
Yeah. The funny thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I don't have a lot of thoughts on the Phoenix release.
Yeah,
I will say this: it's often, I know there's like this kind of like superstition in the Marvel gaming community that when Phoenix is released, it kills the game. And I will say we're about 6 months out from her release, and it doesn't look like MCP's dying. So congrats, AMG, you beat the curse.
we survived the Phoenix Rapture.
Yeah, yeah. Even though her rules are lacking, the game still exists. So I'm happy for that, and I think that's the most telling thing of the Phoenix release.
Yep. So from my experience playing against Phoenix, I would say that the backside, the Phoenix Unleashed is actually really good for flavorful, and it does feel appropriate for the countdown, sort of like of her kind of going off. I think if AMG ever were to fix Phoenix's front side, you would probably see her like a lot more often. Like
Yeah,
there's
I kind of
but just a bunch of things that you just need to fix on the front side, I think.
yeah. What I love the most about the current model, though, is the amount of people. It's kind of like the New Mutants problem, where you just see people try to make her work so desperately. Like I remember seeing some guy on TTS. I don't know what he did, but he like had it so she would like teleport into the enemy's lines, transform, and round 2 kill everybody. And I was like, you know what, you know what, props. So it was only at like 1 threat level he could do that successfully, though.
Yeah.
So I forget who that was, but if I can remember, comment below. Not that we have a comments. This isn't YouTube. Go on our Discord and leave a comment. But yeah, so that happened. Cool model. If they fix her in the future, yeah, we might see some more of her, definitely.
Yeah.
And then she might be worrisome, like in actuality. So
I know, like she still has access, like was a mental onslaught, like the Cassandra Jean Grey card. That's like incredibly good.
yeah,
Um, and if I think my theory is the White Hot Room that lets her like come back. That card might be good if the game ever slows down back to like a very slow game again. Like let's say the pendulum swings again and completely on the other end of the spectrum, and like
attrition.
super attrition maps again. I
Yeah,
think that might have room to come back, for instance.
yeah. Mm.
So
Interesting.
anyway, that's Phoenix. Really
I
cool
guess you
model.
could take her with Dormammu so she explodes quicker.
You could, yes.
Sorry, I am now joining the train of making Phoenix work. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, at 20 threat where you could take Dormammu, Phoenix, and 2-3 threats, go have a ball.
Yeah, I mean, I take Hulk at 20 sometimes, so, not the most Farlandish thing I've ever done. Um, yeah, anyways, we'll move on from her. The next box, Mike Whalen, is your least favorite box, and I'm sorry, buddy, but it's the Avalanche Exodus Lady Mastermind box. This was the one specifically, Jin, that I was thinking that I have had this in the kind of the Inhumans even, that I just, and the Echo box that I haven't like tapped into. You know what I mean? I've never used any of those models. I don't play Brotherhood, um, and they just seem interesting, right?
Yeah, I think
So
all three models are very interesting. I think upon first like shown, Avalanche and Exodus were like very poo pooed, I guess, on
yeah,
because initially people were just like, well, Exodus is like not as cool Cable. I'm just like, you're out of your mind because he brings a very different tool set than Cable. You know, once you get past like the teleport and the terrain throw, you'll notice that actually Exodus doesn't die ever.
yeah, I agree. So I played against Exodus, and this is where like this kind of thought sparked for me that I like maybe want to use him. Um, I played against him in a convocation list, which was super interesting. Um, I don't want to get too bogged down in the details, but I'll just say like that. I was like, maybe there's like something here because he just doesn't die. He had a hammer too, and he just couldn't rip it off him.
Yeah,
So,
and I think there's
um,
going to be more to explore too with the genetic supremacy or genetic superiority card that he has with Magneto.
mm,
So because like that, I've gotten to play against that a few times, and like you do generate quite a bit of power in both Exodus or Magneto in that list. So that could be
very
a
cool.
doorway to something in the future, especially if the map changes, right? And it calls for these two characters to like work in tandem with each other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like tough models. I guess unfortunately this year because we were on such a mid-rangey thing, super tough teams, like maybe just not an individual model, but like 3 or 4 characters that just like don't die, are a little bit undervalued, because it's such a fast game, right?
Yeah, but man,
So,
have you ever tried to kill an Exodus under magnetic refraction? That's a hard task, my friend.
oh, I'm
uh,
sure, yeah.
yeah, an Avalanche. Okay, so like, yes, I agree that there probably could be better synergies that you could have made with Avalanche to make his kit work better with the terrain destroyers in Brotherhood.
Hmm.
But the I've seen enough games where hey, if you deploy across a midline objective and you just walk once to do a gainer and then push somebody off, like
You're getting value.
that is actually pretty okay value actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I agree.
you can displace up to size 4 people away, which could be a really scary threats, right? That be coming into your team line sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. I was just having an interesting thought too because it's like, uh, it's interesting how we hear about models and whether we think they're good or bad. And I know on this podcast we try to like take a kind of not we're trying to find the good in the models, like every model. But I'm just thinking of my own kind of prejudice, and I not to bring Mike Whalen into it again, but because I talk to Mike and like see what he says, um, a lot, or hear what he says too, like I was like, oh, Exodus is shit, like without even really or Avalanche, without even really reading Avalanche's kit. And I'm just noticing that like it's interesting how we it's kind of interesting how like we kind of filter out certain models. Like I already didn't care about him, right? So it was like reinforcement bias or whatever they call that. Where I was like, oh yeah, he must be shit because I don't give a shit about him, right? And then Mike says he's bad. So I think that's an interesting thing that I also noticed that I do. So
Yeah, I try really hard not to be stuck in an echo chamber, like as far as like the quality of a certain model. Like, and
mm-hmm.
people maybe they're probably right that Avalanche isn't great at the end of the day, but I will say that a lot of these new models, none of them are really ever terrible in a vacuum, right? Like,
Yeah,
yes, you can lament the fact that like Avalanche, maybe his stuff should work on pushes as far as like triggering terrain explosions and stuff like that, which I agree would fit a lot more synergistically with the faction. But
yeah,
him having a very straightforward play pattern is not necessarily the worst thing in the world if it's a reliable good one,
and those typically are the characters. I mean, Bill being the prime example here, like those characters who have that predictable, reliable play pattern are often the ones who have the longest staying power.
Yeah,
So,
they will sneak up
um,
right on their efficiency. So, but Lady Mastermind is it continuously. I've never had a model this year that more people we all talk about like where we would want to play Lady Mastermind, but
and then don't.
no one's showing up with a list here, right, to use
Yeah,
her.
yeah. Maybe she's like kind of an 11th pick type model, almost. Um, I don't know. I've never experimented with her. This whole box to me is like I've seen Lady Mastermind across the table, but I think that was in the context of let's play a fun game. So I don't think I've seen her across the table in a tournament, which is interesting too, because I don't think she's not competitive. You know what I mean? I think she's competitive, like for some role, somewhere. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. She has an interesting kit. It was a really cool kit when it was spoiled. I was like, oh, that's dope. I kind of want to run that. And then I didn't. I guess that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, I there's a lot of like initial like condition synergies and stuff that you see there, and I think it's a really interesting spot. Just that no one's taken the the initiative to really explore it, at least in our area. So if you're out there
Yeah.
in Coast Midwest international like listeners, it's like, hey, awesome. Like I'm just speaking from our little pod area of the Northeast right at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who don't know, June and I live in the Northeast. So our like comments about this game are primarily out of like tournaments around here.
Yep,
Um, well, we play a lot of TTS though, to be fair. So, but
we do.
anyways,
Yeah, so I think there's still these are models that need to be explored more. Is I think are my personal opinion of how I would rate
yeah.
them.
And to be fair too, on that same note, just quickly, TTS has its own meta because like it's its own. I know people will make the argument and they'll be like, Steven, I don't agree, but a lot of stuff I see on TTS doesn't necessarily what I see. I mean, some of it is obviously, but like a lot of like the stuff on TTS and TTS tournaments is not what I've run into in the Northeast. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't at all. You know what I mean? So um, the meta does like your metas do have like impacts on like what you think about certain models. That's a whole like other tangent. But anyways, let's get to the good stuff. So we'll group these together. I think we've talked about these extensively, and I don't know how much we need to here because we have several episodes where we talk about these 6 characters.
Yeah, I would say like do you have any of these? So we're talking about, let's say, the new group of Spider Men that
The
came out.
webs drop, yeah.
Yeah, so Spider Ham, Silk, Noir, 2099, Ultimate Spider Man, Miles Morales, and also the Prowler, who's a
Prowler,
Criminal
yeah.
Syndicate Spider Foes model. So
Yeah.
since our initial checks about them work, has your opinion changed on any of these characters?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I think specifically on 2 of them. Silk's still really good. I really still like so Silk Noir 2099 did exactly what I thought they would do consistently every game, pretty much. Silk dies a little bit more easily, but I think that's kind of her role, so I got no qualms about that. The ones that changed, I don't think Ham. The biggest one is I don't think Ham is that good. So I know you are, Jin. You're probably the only person I know that considers running double twos at this point with webs.
No, I stopped as well, actually.
Oh, okay.
So
So you're
so
RIP, I guess.
here's what I'll say. Like, I think there's potentially, like, if you're running like a Miles or like ASM like leadership, and you really want either like the highest amount of splashes you can take in Miles 1, or you need a 2 that can apply a slow like
Yeah.
natively. I think he
I don't
definitely
think Ham's bad. I'll say that too. I don't
no
think he's
Ham.
bad.
Ham isn't bad. I
Yeah.
I think that in these days, though, that the efficiency of characters being able to just peel away 3 health isn't that wild at the end of the
Mhm.
day. And he's a two threat character that I need to start engaging characters with, and that's kind of hard as a Web Warriors player. Versus like I've been taking Wong, who there's nothing wrong with him like holding objectives and stuff, and him sitting on a back point, and also being like this sort of pit stop style model. for the
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and that's been more in line of what I want out of Two Threat for the games that I've been playing.
I mean, Wong is a webs model at this point, but
Yeah,
he's
even
just
if
so
he
good.
doesn't.
Wong's just so good, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that beg the differ. Like a lot of people are just like, it's like, oh, this is a dead model. Like, why would I ever take him? It's like I think.
Show me them. I think they're very wrong.
I mean,
People think Wonger is bad.
yes, Bork. There's
Interesting.
a lot of other folks out there, content
Not
creators,
Jeff though, right?
and otherwise, yes, not Jeff. Jeff loves Wong. Don't ever deny it. Don't ever question that. But there's other players that really would consider Wong, essentially a dead model, and I don't agree with that. I think context of the model like matters a lot. It's not a end all be all to every list selection that you make. So, but this is not a year in review of Wong, so I apologize for that tangent there.
Oh no, it's an interesting tangent because I did not know. I have not heard that, and that again, that's the Northeast thing. Everyone in the Northeast pretty much agrees that Wong's like pretty solid.
Yeah, so it's really New England. I think as a whole, we like Wong. I think I would like to say
not even just New England. I even think like Jersey up, like we're pretty Wong positive. Wong CP. But yeah, maybe not everyone in Jersey, but Jeff's there, so he has the loudest voice. And when it comes to Wong,
yep. So yeah, Noir also is the character. Like I agree with you. Like he does what he's advertised in the package, and I think that's good. A lot of people were pretty down on him because they just didn't see displacement, but I think he brings something more important than displacement, and just having that. Yeah, the tough run and gun like style character is kind of what you need sometimes too. And the throw only
he's really good on some of them. Oh, sorry.
Oh, the throws also just got better because like the lampposts actually like do damage.
Cost effective. Yeah, super cost effective now. Yeah, I mean like I like and then 2099 also like very solid.
Yeah. Also a character that did what they advertised. He messes stuff up. He has no dice fixing, so sometimes he misses. But
he web whips.
He web whips is really reliable. He generates a ton of power. And yeah, sometimes he's really hard to put down if you get the right triggers, at the right time.
And he's 7'6", like really the most health on a webs model too. So he sticks around a little bit longer than like a ASM or anything, something like that. So
yeah, he's really, really good. So yeah, nothing particularly like crazy about that. For me, my relationship with Silk has changed though, in the sense that now I'm taking her more as like a tight map model, and for the wide maps I use other models instead for me. So
yeah, she's still pretty standard, but let's keep in mind too, like I think our builds are very different.
Yes. That could
I'm
be
pretty
just
Miles 1 oriented still, and she's an excellent extract holder in Miles 1 with like the 3 rerolls. So yeah, that's why I'm still really like her. But to be fair, I also haven't played webs in like a month or about a month was my last game with them. So
not since the Dark Dorm days have arrived.
yeah. Dormammu came out and everything else is taking a backseat.
Friendship with the webs ended. New best friend Dormammu once more.
Yeah, no, we'll get to this, but I do actually have like 5 lists I'm rotating through right now. So but yeah.
Let's see.
What changed was
yes.
Okay.
What change was?
Yes. So, well, I guess like, so you agree, like those kind of 3 models in those 2 boxes, like pretty much, I mean, I know you just mentioned your Silk has changed, but like pretty much has stuck like to the plan. I mean, to sort of like how we anticipated they would.
Yeah, I think Ham not being played as much as we thought he was going to be was the surprise to us, but maybe that's us realizing that it's like, oh, 2 threat characters are really reined in as far as like their durableness, right, on the field, and sometimes like you just don't want to take like that level of fragility like on the squad.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I guess like so. Prowler is not webs. I haven't seen him in a webs list yet. Not that he doesn't have a place, but USM is the one for me that was kind of the biggest like. He just doesn't work for me, but he's done terrible things to me. So, I know that he's good. He's just never good for Steven. So.
Well, that's you believing in Miles 1 more than Miles 2. So,
Mm. It's kind of
so
like my Nick Fury never works because Maddox plays Shield. So
well, there you go. So I've had a very complex relationship with USM. When he was first revealed, I was very excited to play him, and a lot of people were like, "It's like, oh, he's going to be so overpowered. Like this is the next Shang-Chi," and it was really hilarious for me to think about because like this model is not nearly as good as Shang-Chi. I mean, he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be that good. But then, like, putting him in the field, realizing that he can't displace people after they're slowed, really put a downer on him as a webs model for me, except for in ASM's leadership. So that was rough there. And then I took some time off of webs, and I got to see other people play Miles, and it was like just be aggressive and just start rotating around and have him tag models, right? And that's been like fine once you didn't do that. And I also realized that he's also incredible in other leaderships as well. So as a splash, Ultimate Spider-Man has been like very interesting to see, especially under like Steve 3. He's like almost unfair under Steve 3.
yeah, I agree. Think I see him more outside webs now, but I do see him like Waller's form of webs uses him a lot. So
Yeah, he and I have been jamming some Web of the Spider-Verse like games, and I really have been started enjoying them a lot more in Web of the Spider-Verse when I realized like it's like you don't have to focus fire down like one person. You could use them just as a very good disruption piece in other places. Once he has that spender online, that's the only thing too, is like getting that spender online is like, the difference between finishing off a lot of models sometimes.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good spender. It's a good kit. Like I don't know. That comes down to a lesson I learned this year that we'll get to, I guess. But listen to how you play. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a case of that, an example of that. But you were just talking about like you and Waller talking.
Yep.
Um,
I'll also
cool. And then
mention that Prowler, like I think pretty much like he's performed as expected. I think
yep,
upon
he's
release,
good.
he's good. He long moves. He flips over points. He's a great like team player for objectives. You just have to be careful with him because he is still pretty fragile. But again,
Yeah,
does exactly what the box advertises.
yeah. There was no surprises there. Like when you see him across the table on a pay to flip, something's gonna go down. So
Yeah, his covert weapons just kind of sometimes randomly shreds your models because they don't let you reroll. Speaking as a Whips player, so that's in theme and also rough, big sad, but
yeah,
also really cool.
yeah. Good against APOC too. Can't use the tokens.
Yep.
Um, yeah. And then the last box of this year for new models was Echo, Ronin, and Tigra. Again, another kind of like underexplored box for me. I don't even think I own it at this point. So
So,
I used Echo with Dorm a
yep.
bit, but that's about it. So
How was that experience? Like overall, like.
oh, she's really fucking good in Dorm. But to be fair, she's not in my current list because I just don't think I need that many chargers.
Yeah,
Um,
you're kind of spoiled for choices as far as like here's a thing that charges and blends, right?
yeah, exactly. And like Zemo and Gorgon are just and Weapon X are kind of like my three picks. So I like having a tech piece in Dorm, which I mentioned in the previous episode. So like if I go 5 or 4 threes at 20, I'm usually taking like Lockjaw or something over Echo. So I just don't bring her, but she's very good. Like I can see there is a world, and I'm sure other players are doing it where she's like kind of a staple in Dormammu. Haven't seen her. I haven't seen a defenders list with these models yet.
Yeah,
So
presumably they should be good under both affiliations. They all have like incredible
yeah,
close range like attacks that certainly benefit from Daredevil's buffs. But also like having the hex like be able to sort of like safeguard them over the long term of the game has been like particularly helpful as well. I also
yeah, and like
imagine that the Doctor Strange, like specifically Doctor Strange as well, being able to just now buff their defense dice and heal them would make them all three like really annoying.
yeah, and all their kits, like all three of those kits, are very solid. Like Echo, Ronin, and Tigra are all. I like. There were no complaints. Like when I read them, I was like, "Oh, these are pretty solid kits." You know?
Yeah, I think people initially weren't sure like how good Tigra was going to be, just because like it's like, well, I don't quite get it. But the more you play with her, that reroll bubble defensively, the hexes on her regular attacks, in fact, you can't modify into her. Like she kind of is like, if I actually were to buff Black Cat into offensive model, that's kind of how she feels to me. If Black Cat could actually do damage.
Yeah, it's true. um, yeah, I'm kind of excited because that came out it's relatively new. So
Yeah,
again, like that kind of 3 month lag that sometimes we have on models, seeing them everywhere. Like maybe we'll definitely see Echo, um, possibly Ronin and Tigra, but
well, Ronan's
Echo's definitely.
yeah, Ronan's affiliate. Well, Ronan and Tigra are both affiliated Avengers, so like you should definitely see them. I think depending on like the kind of types of lists that are being created for under Avengers, but also the
Yeah,
vendors too. The other thing too is that to keep in mind these like last three boxes we talked about, the Spiders, Prowler, and this Defenders box that we just talked about. Europe just got them like physically. Same with Canada as well. So a lot of experimentation may not have happened just because like there's a lot of players that need those models like in hand before they start playing them. So
they just got them.
yes, it's
Oh,
but I
really?
just got them I think like in the last like month or so, basically.
Oh, really? Like shipping issues?
Yeah, shipping issues, there's a lot of, worldwide tariff delays, blah blah blah. You know the deal. It's 2025, man. It's crazy.
It's true.
Yeah. So because of that, I think we'll see a lot more interesting takes and lists and experimentation that'll happen. And I'm eagerly awaiting like what new crazy ideas some people are going to come out with on those models.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Ronin's kit. Like out of all of them, I think I liked his the most because I really like the like place 3 kind of charge. It
Mhm.
seems cool to me. So, um,
I mean,
yeah. So that's
you
kind
can
of like,
also play Logan the Wolverine.
yes. I've never actually used Logan. Like as much as I love Wolverine, I've never used that model.
What the hell?
Um,
You have this?
yeah, I know. I know. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna tell Maddox to steal take your scoreboard.
No, I earned that through begging. Oh, that was this year too. I begged for year 2025 highlights. Steven begs for Wolverine scoreboard. Steven receives Wolverine scoreboard. I didn't even have to put in the work to win an event. So there you go. Yeah, but that is the besides these new models, they also released, we're not going to go over these. I will just mention it. They released a lot of affiliation packs this year. Rebundled everything. New sideways cards,
New
new
art.
rules for a lot of them, new art. Yeah. So, um, that should hopefully, kind of get like newer players more accessibility to pick up some of these models. So,
Yeah. Also, the
um,
X-Men starter box and the Spider Foes starter box came out as well. That has all the dice and widgets in there. So like those are great entry points for people. I'm glad they're
oh,
doing some of
cool.
those.
I didn't know they had the dice and the measuring tools in
Yeah,
there.
that's what distinguishes. On top of it being like a high model count pack, it actually does have everything you need to get started to play a game. Actually,
Yeah, they have like what, 8 models each,
10
something like that.
actually.
10. Oh wow,
It's like a full
that's
roster that
crazy.
you get. Yeah, and you just need to find a mat and some terrain afterwards. That's it.
Very cool. So that's good for the game in general, I think too. But
Yep.
all right, so those were the models. I think now we can talk about sort of what we learned. Um, I'll kick it off if you don't mind, Jim.
Sure.
It's been an arduous year of MCP. No, no, no. I think with everything that you try to do and do well, especially if you're playing a game competitively, there are ups and there are downs, but there's also progress. Um, I guess like moral of the story is there were a couple things for me that like really changed this year. Um, I learned towards the end of the year to stop listening to everyone, and listen to myself because I actually do know how to play this game. That was actually a big lesson. I'm kind of like diminishing it a little bit, but um, it was a lesson where I was looking kind of for external validation and being like just wanting someone to tell me what models were good and not realizing that a I know what models work for me, and I have to trust that. And I B like um, don't need anyone to tell me what's good. You know what I mean? I can play what I want and do well with it, right? Um, but I think this time last year you were stomping my ass with Wakanda, and something happened after Everwinter where like my skill level went up and I got better. And like this is always a progressing thing, but um, it's going continues to be, and there's like lots of things I have to work on. And I've definitely over this past year have been able to like personally grow as a competitive player, but that comes with the ability to be like, what am I doing incorrectly that I need to work on? And there are several things in my bucket right now that I know I need to get stronger and that I'm constantly like thinking about. Like, so identifying, I guess the big lesson for this year for me was like identifying what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And then allowing myself to a be try to be kinder to myself. I'm really hard on myself, as you probably know, Jim.
Oh, we've
Um,
had a lot of chats about this. Yes.
yeah. So, um, yeah. So, but like, I think that's a really cool thing that's happened this year in terms of gameplay. Is like I can now tell you, or like tell myself, not you, but like look at what I'm doing. Like, okay, I do this like less than ideally. I want to be better at this. I guess is a better way to phrase it. I want to get better at doing this because I think it's a weakness of mine, and I was not thinking that way before this year. Um, and in general, I've had like a pretty good year MCP wise. And I think this next year I'm like looking forward to. And I'm gonna the other lesson I talked about is like I don't want to listen to people. Not want to. That's a terrible way to phrase it. I think letting people tell you what's good and not what works for you is a huge mistake in this game. Um, for me at least. Like I've spent so much time being like, oh, should it be this? Like, what about this? And looking for like other people to tell me what to put in my list. And then when I stopped doing that, I've had more success and more fun. So, um, valuable lesson. One I should have trusted myself with in the first place because I come from competitive 40k where I was like running hundreds of Zangors and no one else was doing that. Well, a because it's like physically exhausting, but like I was running these weird lists and I was doing well with them, and like I just have to remember that like sometimes you got to tone out the noise and just listen to yourself. So that was my kind of like 2025 lesson.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think as a whole, like whenever people are listening to like podcasts or looking at tier lists and everything, like it's like you can respect your favorite person's like opinion on stuff like that, but they're not the gospel, right? At the end of the day,
they also aren't you, which was the
yes,
important thing I realized.
yes,
They don't play the same way you do. We're not like these robots in a vacuum who are producing the same. Where it's not like, oh, take X model and you will do well. It's like you have your own play patterns that you, as a person, express in your skill, and you have to acknowledge that. I think.
Whoa! Don't listen to it, guys. Ask podcast number 5139 of MCP. Take Zemo first, okay? That's always the answer.
Well, Zemo is the answer.
Beep, boop, bop.
No, yeah. I mean, when you have outlier models like that, sure. But like in general, when you're talking about, here's a good example. Like I played APOC most of this year, as our listeners are all aware. And I was like really on the Iceman train, and I was doing better with APOC when I took Iceman. And then I listened to someone I won't mention, and they're a really good APOC player, and I trust their judgment. And they were like, take Deadpool all the time, and Deadpool just didn't play the way that I like. He didn't play how I was using APOC, right? And that doesn't mean it's bad. It's actually really fucking good, right? So, it's just like you're your own person. Like you make your own judgment, I guess. But yeah,
Correct. Yeah. And I think it's it's okay to trust your gut at the end of the day, right? Because ultimately you're the one that's trying to get enjoyment out of this game, right? So the verdict, veto, final like say is going to be with you, right? At the end of the day. So don't do something, that would cost you the enjoyment of playing the thing that you want to play necessarily. But within that though, if you are trying to find success with something, do the best you can to understand the tools you have, right, and use them to the best you can as well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And another great lesson this year too was like committing to something. I really did commit to like one affiliation for like a long time, and it did pay off like most of the time, So it got boring. That's how much it paid. And when something gets boring to play, that means you played it a lot, So, yeah. But what about you, Jin?
So I think I went very hard into WTC prep like last year, or this year, I should say. So I think I was on the Inhumans train for a bit longer than I probably should have been. So taking the same sort of lesson, right? I think I'm going to jump around affiliations a little more this year and just really buckle down, like when I understand like what I'm going to play for the team event for next year. So, but otherwise though, like it's been a very fun year. I'll say that traveling to different tournaments, like having that overseas experience again this year, like always reinvigorates like my enjoyment of this game, and because the community is very cool to see so many different countries like play this game, right, across either like games on TTS or like games in real life people. I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of like very very cool people in this game, and that keeps me wanting to stick with it and still contribute like as a just a positive opponent, but also as a positive like I guess like creator in the space too, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. That is a weird thing that happened this year. Is realize the impact that us sitting around talking has. So, that's cool though. Yeah, yeah. So your favorite event this year was at WTC?
Yeah, it's unfair to compare anything else to it, but I
Yeah,
will say going squaggles was actually my second favorite. Like I think teams are just a fun sort of like style of event that I had, and thank you again for
yeah.
coming out and playing that as well, dude.
Oh, no problem. That was probably my favorite event this year as well. So, um, and meeting like all the pork roll people. It's a great community that I fit into. So it was cool to go out there and like realize that I had made new friends.
Yeah, the world expanding is always a nice thing. I think like
Yeah.
when you're meeting new people and expanding the play pool and the competition pool, if you feel invigorated after seeing that, that's a really great sign. I feel that's really bad. Like if you're ever like have that big fish in a small pond situation happen, and
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
you just want to stay. Like I kind of feel bad for those people sometimes, but that's just my
Yeah.
personal like value system.
I agree. Always have thought that, and to each their own. But like seeing some of those players there was like kind of inspiring.
Yes.
Um, like I know my favorite game there was against Ron Talentino. Is his last name Talentino? Is
Yes.
that the same Ron? Okay,
Yes. We love
but like
Ron.
him and I, yeah, we had the cleanest game. It was so cordial. It's like one of the best competitive experiences I've had. So in any game. So that was great. So and then like obviously like meeting. Why do we do this? I don't know. Probably friends and like hanging out with people and um, being able to meet more people from the Northeast and some of those people that I met that weekend at Squaggles, I don't even talk about MCP with, and we talk regularly. So you know, um, it goes a long way, I think. So
Yeah.
that was a great event, really great event actually. But yeah, I want to get to WTC this year. Eric actually, I asked the Montreal guys, so maybe I'll get a spot there. But Eric also reached out about making a team, so um,
I'd say to do it.
so we
Like,
went.
there's so many different types of like teams that get like sent there, and I think it's a great experience. Like, no matter like what group you bring along, as long as the group itself that you go with, you are people that you think you'll have fun with, it's going to be a great time, regardless.
Yeah. Plus, like I know people on your team too, so it'll be like we're all friends anyways, right? So so
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
exactly.
Yeah, I just want to go for the experience, like, and I know the first year you guys went, that was like the intention as well. So, um, or I think you said that was the intention.
Yeah, the intention was like it was just a trial period to see if it's like a one and done. We thought it was going to be a one and done. Just to cross off the bucket list, but it was such a fun time that we just want to keep going back each year. This year it's going to be
Yeah,
interesting. It's a
in
new.
Amsterdam too.
It's in Amsterdam and it's under Gil's not running it this year, so I'm curious to see like if there's going to be an atmospheric change for the
Mm,
tournament. I think it's going to be fun at the end of the day, but I'm just kind of curious like what changes like it's going to feel like because of that.
yeah, yeah, me too. Well, I guess I won't have any perspective on it, but
Yeah, no, you're
you can tell me.
whatever your experience is going to be if you go, like it's going to be your experience, and I'll be happy to see you guys there if you decide to go.
Yeah, yeah, and Rob and I in Amsterdam is like probably dangerous, so that'll be fun.
For you, yes, not for Rob.
No, Rob will have a good time too. Trust me.
Rob's going to function. You function at the tournament next day. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I can function at the tournament, but I just can't drink alcohol. Otherwise, I don't remember what mission I'm playing on. Oh, B map, you say? It must be Infinity Formula. Oh, the lessons we learn. But yeah, so yeah, Squad Goals was awesome. Great event too. Our Live on One tournament was also like very great. A different type of experience, but I really did like that. It was my first like kind of major in person TOing as well. So TOing is a hard job. Props to like Brian and Will in our area. It is not exactly fun sometimes to be a TO. So, and I know Jen, you TO locals, but I'm talking about like the bigger two in the area. But well, you're kind of TOing the team tournament in Rhode Island. You're now playing too, so
I mean, I initially signed up as a TO, just a TO, but like I guess we're just gonna
yeah.
let
Now
it
we're just
rip.
all playing. Yeah.
Listen, if I can get Brian to play, like I think that's gonna be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's funny too. Like, I think Eric also asked to kind of TO that, and now he's also playing.
Yeah.
So,
We talked to Shane first, and he's like, yeah, guys, go out and just make a team. It was like, sounds good.
oh, cool. Well, at least you have one person who can just dedicated TO at least. So,
Yeah. So, but we also can switch off like if we need to, at the end of the day for anything. So it'll be a team effort,
yeah,
right, between the three of us.
yeah, it'll be a good time. Team tournaments are like single handedly, I think, since April, basically. I've also been of the mind that like they're kind of one of the better ways to play MCP. And so kind of moving forward, that's what the WTC interest comes from, and like all that. So, it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
And Rob and I will probably go a couple days early, Jen, if you're that worried about it.
No comment.
Okay. Yeah, so we went that. We don't necessarily have to do this, but I will just say I sent a map from our analytics this year, and that has like all the countries that we listen to, and pretty much like every continent is lit up at least. It's like really cool. So thank you all for listening. Like we've got European, we've got East European listeners, we got Australia. Props to you guys. You guys are like one of our top listeners. We got South America, obviously North America, and a little bit of Africa, and we don't have any like Middle East, but like some India, China, Japan, Indonesia, Philippines. So like, thank you guys. If you're listening to this and you're from one of those countries, like we really appreciate this. Oh, the UK. Sorry, you guys. I should mention them because they're like pretty big. Thank you for Canada. Sorry. Now I like feel like I have to say all of them because I feel bad.
Are you doing the Animaniacs like like country song? But
No,
thank you to
no.
all the listeners globally. Whether it's our our hot takes, analytics, general banter, Steven's acupuncture knowledge drops.
Yeah, yeah, people definitely listen to it for that.
Him teaching me how to be Chinese. These are all fun things that happen on this podcast, and I appreciate you all listening and being with us on this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Though, like, really appreciate it. This year's been crazy. Hopefully, we'll have like the same cast of characters for the next year. The consistency there. So I don't think anything's going to change there. But you never know. So, anyways, I guess also just like quickly, I don't know if we need to. I don't know how deep we need to go here, but 2026 looks to be pretty interesting. I will say we're trying to finally get through our faction focuses and then we're gonna like try some different stuff out. Mostly kind of concentrated on affiliations in terms of lists. I think is like kind of where we're going with that. Um, we'll have a bunch of hobby stuff. There'll be kind of like more thought episodes. I think too, like how TTS affects the space, or like you know older models and their relevance. Some of the stuff that you loved in the past, like we have the numbers, I have the numbers, I know what people listen to, so like we want to do more of that kind of, but just like a little bit of a twist. And then also, I think we, because of Eric too, we do have someone who plays more than MCP. So I do think, and to be fair, we're all kind of like branching out a little bit in terms of what we're playing. Um, so I think we might have some episodes, probably nothing dedicated. Um, this is all of our main games, so it's really hard to like record dedicated things to other game systems. But like, I definitely think it's worth exploring some stuff like outside of MCP. So, um, yeah, and then we're gonna do some more hobby stuff with like Rob and like Waller and I want to do that every once in a while because it's really cool and interesting. So there might be Kill Team content, more Shatterpoint, maybe some Lord of the Rings stuff. Mostly like skirmish games. I think is still kind of primarily where we're heading. So, you got anything else, Jim?
No, not really. But I do want to give a quick shout out to Rob, officially on this podcast, for making a great episode on the hobby side. Even as a chronic not painter, it was still incredibly useful to have that knowledge in your back pocket, and so that when I do sit down to paint, it's good to sort of like have that color wheel reference in mind, and the
Yeah,
theories.
that was a like really impactful episode. I think for like a lot of people. I know I now bring up the color wheel more than I ever did before. So, it was like very thought provoking, and I that's the kind of stuff we want, especially when you're talking about hobby and not like demonstrating on a model or something like that. We want to like, I don't know. I wanted to bring them more theory in, and Rob's really good at that. So,
Yeah. So,
um,
like I said, I appreciate everyone that's also like, beyond Rob as well, everyone that's come on this cast to like,
mm-hmm.
give us some of the free time and knowledge to us as we're just trying to learn more, you know?
Yeah.
So, just thank you, everybody, it's been really good. It's good having everybody here in this crazy year of 2025. Um,
Mm.
so I just appreciate everybody for giving us their time, whether they're participating, listening, whichever way at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well said, Jin. Thank you. I don't have anything to add to that, but that's good. We do have one more one more box. That was a good way to like end the episode too. So I'm like, do we even
Shit. Cut that.
No, that's too much work. I guess like just briefly. So, what are you thinking of playing this coming year? The new ideas you have for MCP?
I probably are going back to Webb's Wakanda as well. I think I want to try out new Sentinels when they come out just to see how they are. They just dropped the new Mighty Avengers
Yep.
panel to play, so I'm curious to see how that shakes out and who's going to be affiliated in that. But if Ant-Man's affiliated, that sounds like a really fun time, I'll say.
Yeah, we're gonna have that affiliation up and going like probably the week that releases. So, faction focus there too. I put it in the schedule already. So,
Is it faction focus? It would be more of a faction hot takes episode, I think.
yeah, probably, but like we'll still call it a faction focus. It's going to be new though, with probably very little games under them. Unfortunately, just because we have no idea when they're going to release the affiliation.
So
I put it about a week or two. I can change the date, Jim.
okay, buddy.
All right. Well, whatever. It'll be out. There'll be some new Mighty Avengers content coming at some point. Yeah, nice. That looks fun. Back to Wakanda. I don't love that, but I know how to deal with King T more now. So, yeah. In terms of me, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rotating lists right now. That I made up for this year.
Is it
Midnight
Dormammu 1,
Suns.
Dormammu 2, Dormammu 3, Dormammu 4, Dormammu
No,
5?
no, they're all different affiliations. Midnight Suns, Guardians, Web, Storm, and then like maybe I go back to APOC at some point. But those 5 I kind of want to rotate through. So, we'll see how that evolves. But right now, yeah, it's been pretty much dorm town USA. So,
Population.
relation 1 and 3 splashes.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, there's like other stuff I want to try out too. Like, I really want to try out Criminal again. Obviously, New Mutants and Wide Cabal are also kind of like on my mind. I haven't played like a lot of games, but like maybe when what's her face comes out, I'll like Mirage. I'll try some more New Mutants. But yeah, it should be a good year. I really kind of want to commit to like Midnight Suns as like a secondary or primary for a while. But like Dorm came out and I just can't stop playing him. So
Can't stop.
I don't
Won't
know.
stop.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing Dormammu for like 2 years at this point. So, you know, when your affiliation gets an update, usually you want to play it. So, yeah. But yeah. So if there's nothing else, thank you for the heartwarming pre-exit sentiment. And yeah, again, to mirror what Jin said, thank you everyone so much for listening this year. And we're glad if you're a new listener, thank you for joining us. If you're an old listener, thank you for continuing to support us just by giving your time, basically. And like talking to us and like, all the kind of connections we made doing this. So really cool.
So also, thank you to Steven for putting in all this work as far as like, getting this edited out on time and deliverable in some, legible manner to people. So just want to say that to you.
Wait, what did you just say? In some legible manner? Was that also some
you
sort
heard
of
me? my
Hey.
grand words of, support,
Yeah.
But most importantly, shout out to Dave, our number one Patreon supporter.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Really, none of this matters without you, actually. So,
Our one and only. Yeah. Well, there's that whole double-edged sword thing, right? Like, in order to get people to join Patreon, we have to do Patreon content. So, but thank you, Dave, again, and thank you also to everyone in our Discord too. Like, the chatter there, is pretty good, and I mean, it dies down sometimes, gets more proactive other times. So, like, really appreciate the connection that we've been able to make with the community. It does feel like these days, if I walk into a shop in New England, chances are when I start laughing, someone knows who I am. So that's kind of cool.
got him.
Bam. No, but really, I think having this podcast has been like quite amazing in terms of like, especially in the Northeast, like kind of growing our community and connecting with the other podcasts in the space. Primarily GameStore Guardians and those boys. So very cool, and I'm looking forward to like kind of seeing what comes next, and just kind of chugging along, doing our own thing. So yeah. Any final thoughts, Jim?
Nope. Send us home, Steven.
Alrighty. So I have a very clever ending. I hope you find it as clever as I do. So you can follow us on Facebook, join our Discord below, got our email, the timestamps below, although I guess saying that at the end of the episode doesn't really help. Our RSMP link still below as well. You can check out those Jin's great videos on kind of like getting better as a gamer. You can leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to listen. Our huge miniature affiliate link is below as well. And as always, Godspeed 2099. Welcome 2026. Clever, right? All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Good night.